Oh, goodness gracious. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, everybody. This is Ying Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1747. One and a plane, 747. We are going to be reading a chapter out of the Rules Handbook, Engaged. This is out of course 5, create respectful marriages and partnerships. Get the bookmark. Great job. You're engaged and all is moving along as you had hoped. We want to caution you that being engaged doesn't mean the end of the rules by Ellen Fine and Sherry Schneider. We have got the Rules Handbook, which is a guide to creating loving and lasting relationships. We are reading from course 5. So, we want to caution you that being engaged doesn't mean the end of the rules. It means making minor adjustments in how you interact and communicate with your fiancé. Don't fall into a false sense of security just because you got the ring. You need to continue using the rules both before and after you are married. When you are in the honeymoon phase of your engagement, we recommend your fiance should still do most of the calling and texting, planning and paying, but now that you're planning a wedding, you obviously can talk to him and see him more often, maybe 3 or 4 times a week instead of 2. This week, focus on keeping your independence and spending the majority of your time on work, family, friends, interests, and the gym while enjoying this engagement phase of becoming future lifelong partners. So, love at first sight. If he says after a year or more of dating that he's not sure how he feels, don't believe him. Men know right away how they feel, and if you're the one. In some of the longest lasting marriages, the man said, "That's the woman I'm going to marry," based on knowing her for 10 minutes. Fashion designer Tom Ford said, upon meeting his partner of 35 years in an elevator, "You're the one. That's it. Click. Sold." It was literally love at first sight. So, if he says he needs more time, say, "Okay, call me when you know," and then stop seeing him and date other people. Don't spoil the proposal. Your boyfriend said he's going to propose around the holidays. If he doesn't, do you say something on the spot? We think not, because that would ruin the holiday weekend. Your lower self wants to say, "Hey, what's going on?" But your higher self knows to be poised and patient. He forgot, you forgot. Don't worry, he's not getting away with anything. The next time he asks to see you, say, "I can't see you anymore without a proposal." A client was skiing with her boyfriend who had mentioned proposing by New Year's. She was texting us from the mountain ready to blow up. We told her not to. Of course, he proposed 2 minutes later with a ring he had in his jacket pocket. Marry Me. In a recent op-ed article in the Los Angeles Times, a sociologist asked why women can't propose, claiming that men proposing is an archaic tradition. While that may sound good in theory, letting everyone be equal, we believe it makes the woman the aggressor and the man passive, which doesn't work in romantic relationships. It's upending the natural order of things, which is that men love to lead and love a challenge. It's making women become the more interested party, and as in life, as in love, the less interested party wins. It's the woman chasing the man, which will make her feel insecure, especially if he says no. She'll always wonder if he was going to do it first or ever. If a man doesn't propose, she can simply ask where the relationship is going, and then she'll have her answer. But no need to ask his hand in marriage, ever. Will she buy the ring and get down on bended knee? Where will all this pseudo equality end? In the same article, the sociologist said most women said they would be embarrassed to propose, and most men said they want to do the proposing. Don't be a diva. Now that you've got the ring and the wedding date, does that mean you throw the rules out the window? No, you still need to follow the rules for engagement. You still don't see him 24/7. If you live together, don't be needy or glued to his side. Be independent and stay in your power. While planning the wedding, don't be a diva and be nice to his family and friends. Perhaps you want an elaborate affair. He wants something low key, or vice versa. Don't demand that everything go your way. Some brides are so obsessed with the perfect party that they forget to include their fiance in the decision making. Of course, if he's fine with you picking the flowers, venue, and everything else, great. But if he wants to be involved, let him. Posting pretty photos on Facebook and Instagram is not the goal. Being happily married is. We know it's hard if your whole life you've dreamed of a big fancy wedding, but your fiance would rather spend the money on the down payment for a house. Don't throw a fit or mope around complaining that he's being cheap. You can still have a beautiful wedding on a small budget. Send evites instead of fancy invitations. Hire a DJ instead of a live band. Use candles instead of expensive floral centerpieces. Wear a simple slip dress instead of something poofy and pricey. Have a buffet instead of a sit down dinner. And ask your friends to take photos and videos instead of hiring a photographer. Better to get along with your future husband and buy a house for a lifetime than blow the same money in 5 hours. And of course, many details can go wrong with even the best wedding planning. So try not to be a bridezilla. We are reading from The Rules Handbook, a guide to creating loving and lasting relationships by Sherry Schneider and Ellen Fine, the mavens that wrote the rules in the 1990s that changed our life of dating, our dating life in the world. They really made a difference. And Princess Diana was given the book by somebody who was thinking that Princess Diana was having an affair with a married man. And the woman that sent the book actually circled the part that said, "Don't date a married man," and sent it to her. And then, because of that, the book, the rules, got onto national. Where is it? Oh gosh, where is it? Oh, it might be up here. Uh, it's up here. Yes, it is. The rules and the rules too. The rules and the rules too, which was written later. So the rules is time-tested secrets for capturing the heart of Mr. Right by Ellen Fine and Sherry Schneider alphabetically. They're Ellen Fine and Sherry Schneider. And then the sequel to the number one New York Times best-selling phenomenon, The Rules 2, More Rules to Live and Love by Ellen Fine and Sherry Schneider. And American Woman, the magazine said, if you play the dating game, then you'll want The Rules 2, the follow-up book to the original dating Bible. There we are. So then, after many years of doing this, they found that using the rules on everyone else was also effective. And I don't know if it'll stand up like that. Um, was also effective. So they wrote the handbook, which you can follow year by year or one day at a time. I am on Instagram also reading these things one day at a time. So lay low. If you're engaged, lay low and don't flash your ring in a friend's face or post incessantly on social media, assuming that they will be happy for you. Some people, even close friends who are still single, may not be able to take the good news. Unless they are your BFF and your good news is their good news, better that someone else tell them or they read about it online. When talking to insecure, jealous, or not the happiest or depressed friends, try to downplay it if it comes up at all, or preferably tell them about your bad back or other problems. Social media has made weddings more competitive. Everyone wants to post the perfect venue, six-tiered cake, daddy daughter dance, designer wedding dress with long train and tiara, 5-inch Manolo Blahnik heels, heartwarming vows, and charming toasts. Before you get caught up in all the photo ops, remind yourself that getting along with your husband before, during, and after the wedding is more important than how everything looks on Facebook and Instagram. I have to say, I'm going to insert something here, which is that the first wedding I ever attended, well, it wasn't the first wedding I ever attended. I was the first person that was videotaped at a wedding uh, reception. And at this wedding reception, the 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 family decided to play bride and groom games. And what they did was they blindfolded the groom and then they had each woman, bridesmaid, go and massage him on the shoulders and let him guess which one was his wife. And it was funny because after they got, the wife was the last one. And so she was massaging his shoulders and he was quiet. He couldn't say anything. Somehow he couldn't figure it out whether it was his wife or not. And she was just still massaging and massaging. And she was getting tired of it, you know. She was like rocking her head, going, oh, yeah, yeah, you know. And everybody was laughing a little bit. And toward the end, he said, no, definitely not. Then, oh my goodness, that was a little bit of a downer for the bride because they made him take off his blindfold, and I guess he lost count of how many bridesmaids there were. So he didn't figure out that she was the last one and that it had to be her because the previous ones all were not. So he said, no, definitely not. And then she was sitting at the table really glum. So I want to say, oh, and the husband's husband's no, it was her father. No, yes, it was her stepfather who said, "You're supposed to be happy." He said it loudly, and I heard it from my table, which was closer to the door. So, gotta say, you gotta make sure that how you're getting along with your husband before, during, and after the wedding is more important than how everything looks on Facebook and Instagram. Not sharing isn't lying, the authors say. This is being a good, thoughtful friend. It's being your higher self, putting their feelings before your own. If you're engaged, don't flaunt it in front of everybody. This is like dating. being honest but mysterious. If you've found your soulmate and your friend can't get a second date, they might be a tad jealous. It's human nature. If you want to keep friends, don't brag from your lower self. Day 272, take the high ground. A client's dream guy proposed. She wanted Whitney Houston's upbeat, I Want to Dance with Somebody, I want to dance with somebody, da, 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 as her wedding song. Her husband wanted something more subdued but meaningful. All I Ask of You from Andrew Lloyd Webber's The Phantom of the Opera. Ooh. She called all her bridesmaids, and most of them took her side because they wanted to dance. She and her husband argued about it, and she contacted us. We told her, you can play dancing music all night, but your wedding song should have more weight and depth than disco. Anywhere you go, let me go too. Love me, that's all I ask of you. If your husband cares so much to choose something so heartfelt, go along with him. Go along with him. Focus on what matters most. In general, we believe in taking a husband's last name. This is the author speaking about marriages and traditional marriages. In general, we believe in taking a husband's last name as it's traditional and the rules are traditional. But it's an individual decision, which is why we offer private consultations to discuss the pros and cons. Sherry Schneider is a wonderful consultant of the rules. She's a co-author. Goodness gracious. Ellen Fine too. Sometimes Sometimes a client wants to keep her maiden name or hyphenate it with her husband's last name because of her career or because she loves her father who only has daughters and wants to keep her last name going. Others want to keep their maiden name because they are celebrities, VIPs, or authors. However, Jennifer Lopez decided to take Ben Affleck's last name because it's traditional and romantic. What if your partner asks you for a prenup? Rules girls are not gold diggers, so we have no problem signing a prenup. But if she has more money, she can ask him to sign her prenup. We don't believe that money is a big factor in a rules marriage. You both married for love, for richer or poorer, so it's not a deal breaker. Um, there was a woman who got married and had to sign a prenup, or asked her husband to sign a prenup. And there was a red flag in that he was extremely unhappy on the day that, I mean, he seemed to struggle with it a lot. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm playing with my hair. It's wet. And show up with wet hair. So they signed a prenup, and eventually they got divorced. But the problem was that it was because the husband had no intention of being romantically committed to her. Even he married her for her money, is what that really happened. So it turned out to be kind of a red flag, a big red flag, when he was unhappy about signing it, because he really convinced her that he loved her and she was really in love with him and she thought that he was in love with her. But it turned out that he didn't stay faithful to her after a few months of marriage. So that was a very, very big downer. Everybody was upset. Everybody that knew her was so, so, so upset. Nobody said, oh, the prenup was a good sign. Nobody said that. Nobody to this day has said that. I wonder if it's the case, though. So that's why I say it. But I hope she gets married again. And she did say something else. She said that there is a major possibility or major probability that her next husband would be the same. Somebody said something, and it was a piece of data that was important to know. So, like, I have changed my vetting system, and so I don't currently have a relationship because I am really, really vetting people differently than I used to. I used to just choose to love somebody. I would choose to trust somebody. But I have found that that's not necessarily the right way to do it. It has to be related to the person that you're going to marry. If it has to be relatable to the person that you're having the relationship with. Apply the rules to achieve your higher self. Now, I'm a rules buddy. I just read from the book. The rules still apply even at your own wedding. Let your husband find you in the crowd and ask you to dance. Oh my goodness, that'll be fun. It'll be easy to find you because you should be wearing something that's very, very that stands out. Number 2, when you want to blow the budget, remember, it's more important to be happily married than to have an Instagram perfect wedding. Marriage is about compromise. This is very important. I have been married, but I have also been divorced. And the fact is that I never actually lived as a married couple. We were, I discovered the mistake had been made by the second day. So, right around that same time, Britney Spears did the 4-day thing. And I thought, I have Britney Spears beat because I found out my mistake on the second day. And basically, I had used the rules to get married, and they worked very well, but I had chosen the wrong person because of my poor vetting system. My poor vetting system said, he's handsome, he seems to love me. That's the thing, is you think that they love you when they're trying to be the Casanova, but you have to look through and see if there are possible ulterior motives, and don't ignore your true gut feeling, because I have to say that when I started to date that man that I eventually married and divorced, I had a gut feeling that was a sickening thud into my stomach. Very weird. Same with the guy that I dated for 9 years. I had a sickening feeling in my stomach. So your gut will never lead you wrong. Keep your eyes open and your gut in play. Number 3, when you're engaged, don't be a bridezilla. Also, try to be sensitive and helpful to single friends who haven't been so lucky in love. Just be nice. That's all I say. There's nothing else you can do but be nice to people when you're engaged. I had a 4-day engagement. That was why. Would you marry me? And I said yes. And then, would you marry me on Wednesday? And believe it or not, I said yes after knowing the man for about 2 months. So definitely, definitely, you want to be able to know the person ahead of time. I made a huge mistake, and then I got divorced. I didn't do the paperwork until like later because it was very complicated. It was a overseas, so anyway, I'm so glad I'm divorced. Oh, God. Would you marry me? Would you marry me on Wednesday? Okay. Old Kinderhook.